Hi everyone, welcome to my book review of Secret Letters by Leah Scheier. I was looking forward to talking about this book because I am a big fan of Sherlock Holmes. I've always loved his books and I read through, I think, all of his stories, and his TV series is excellent also. So I really wanted to read this book because I knew it was a young adult book, but it also was about Sherlock Holmes. Now, we look at the cover's okay. It's neither here nor there. Next, let's talk about the plot. So in this book, our main character, Dora, has two missions in mind. First of all, she's going to London under this disguise, although she actually wants to do this, of helping her cousin, Adelaide. Adelaide is being blackmailed because in her past she had a secret lover in which she wrote letters to them, and now she is either trying to get married or she's married, and she doesn't want her husband to find out, and she wants to find the letters. So her cousin, Dora, has promised to help her by going to London and finding the famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Now, the other reason why she wants to go to London is because she thinks that Sherlock Holmes is her father. And this is the coolest thing. So she found out a couple years ago when her mother was dying, and then did die, a secret letter from her mother that she wasn't meant to get saying, Sherlock Holmes may be your father. So ever since then, she's been reading his stories, and she has been perfecting her Sherlock Holmes techniques of discovering little details like, oh, you're wearing a certain type of jacket. I know that you have a certain profession. So those details that if you've read the Sherlock Holmes stories that you enjoyed, those details are in this book. So those two reasons are the reasons why she goes to London. Now it turns out Sherlock Holmes has just died. And if you've read his stories, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, big bad news for Dora. So unfortunately, now Dora has to deal with her cousin's blackmail and the fact that she is kind of overpowered by grief for this fact, but at the same time, she's never met him. She gets involved with another detective and his assistant, Peter. And they're supposedly going to help her discover who the blackmailer is. Along this way, they get involved in another case with a missing girl. So all this kind of comes together, and that's the story of this book, of Secret Letters. Let's talk a little bit about the characters. So Dora was an excellent character. She had that Sherlock Holmes feel. I didn't feel she had the same level of like wit and dry humor that you get with Sherlock Holmes, which I really enjoy, but at the same time she had that kind of same intelligent feel to her thought process and how she saw those clues. I really enjoyed that, and I really wanted to read more of this book because of it. The second character I want to talk about is Adelaide, and Adelaide's not really a big character. Her cousin Adelaide is just kind of a motive for the story to keep continuing. But she kind of balanced out Dora because Adelaide is a proper lady and she represents that. So every time Dora does something that isn't, you realize real fast what's going on. Peter was a really great character too. I'm not going to give too much details of him away, but he had a lot of things going on. He definitely was not a one-sided character, and he really added to the story. So overall, I want to talk about my favorite part of this book, and my favorite part is the aspect of Sherlock Holmes. I love Sherlock Holmes, and I love the fact that it's in this book, and generally I will read any book about Sherlock Holmes. But it was also nice in this book that it wasn't just Sherlock Holmes, but instead they took the feel of that and adapted it to this character and kind of a young adult book. So I really like that. Now, two things I would change. I usually give one, but there's two in this case. First of all, I want more Sherlock Holmes. I mean, gosh, he dies. You don't even get to talk to Sherlock Holmes. I was so sad. I was excited to see this interaction between the main character and Sherlock Holmes. The second thing is the pace in this story is a little slow. I think it needed to be sped up a little bit. I agree, in that same kind of genre feel of Sherlock Holmes and mysteries, they're a little bit slower, but somehow you never really notice it in Sherlock Holmes stories. And maybe that's because they're shorter, but something needed to be tweaked in order to make the pace of it feel a little bit faster, or maybe just you notice less of that. Overall, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's something where I probably enjoyed it more because I love Sherlock Holmes stories, but even if you don't, if you like this time period or you're interested in a young adult mystery, I recommend this book. And it's something, if you're not sure, I would go read the Sherlock Holmes stories. I can't recommend them enough. They're really a lot of fun and intriguing, and you feel smarter when you're done reading them. And you can read one at a time, you can read all of them at a time. I mean, it's up to you. Each story isn't that long. I hope you enjoyed this review of Secret Letters. I would really love to hear what you thought of this book if you've read it. If not, please tell me if you're interested in reading it, or, overall what you think of this review. I'm trying to add more details in that will help you make a better decision about whether you would like this book or not. So if there's anything I can add that you think would add to this review, please let me know. I hope you do try out this book and that you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!